I've been obsessing over this economic puzzle for months, and I think I've finally cracked it. You see, the world's economy is in a bit of a mess right now, and everyone's pointing fingers. But what if I told you that the real culprit is something we all cheered for just a couple of years ago? Yeah, those pandemic stimulus checks and all that money governments pumped into the economy, it seemed like a good idea at the time, right? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into why that decision is coming back to bite us. Okay, so, remember when COVID hit and governments around the world started throwing money at the problem? That's where our story begins. You see, all that cash they pumped into the economy, it didn't just disappear. It's like, throwing a stone into a pond. The ripples are still spreading. And those ripples are what we call inflation. And this wasn't just a US problem or a European problem. This was like a global phenomenon. Every country was dealing with the same crisis, and most responded in similar ways. But the timing and the specifics? That's where things get interesting, and that's what's causing some countries to feel the pain more than others. All right, so let's zoom in on two countries that handled this situation in completely different ways: South Korea and the United States. In South Korea, the Democratic Party was calling the shots when COVID hit. These guys are all about keeping things stable, But then you've got the United States, where Donald Trump was in charge. Now, love him or hate him, Trump's a businessman through and through. His priority? Economic growth, baby. He was all about boosting the economy and the job market, even if it meant taking some risks. Remember all that talk about restricting immigration to protect American jobs? That's the kind of policy I'm talking about. Now, you might be wondering, what's the big deal? Isn't stimulating the economy a good thing? And you're not wrong. In normal times, quantitative easing, or QE as the cool kids call it, can be a powerful tool. But here's where it all went sideways. All that QE money that was supposed to stimulate growth, it got sucked into the black hole of COVID response. It's like planning a big house renovation, but then having to spend all your savings on emergency roof repairs instead. The end result? We got all the downsides of QE, like inflated asset values and potential bubbles, without the upsides of real economic growth. Okay, last piece of the puzzle. There's this idea out there that markets always go up in the long run. And if you look at countries like the US or South Korea, you might think that's true. But let me hit you with a reality check. Take a look at countries like Italy or Greece. These were once powerhouses of innovation and wealth. Now, their market indices have been on a downward slide since 2000. It's a tough pill to swallow, but the truth is, countries can decline just like companies can go bankrupt. The only difference is the time scale. We're not talking quarters or years, we're talking decades or even centuries. It's a reminder that economic growth isn't a given. It's something that needs to be nurtured and managed carefully. So there you have it. The current economic downturn isn't just bad luck or a natural cycle. It's the result of global policy decisions made under unprecedented pressure. We're all on this economic roller coaster together, and the ride's not over yet. But hey, understanding the problem is the first step to solving it, right? So next time you hear someone complaining about inflation or the economy, you can hit them with some real knowledge.